Mine was that I wanted to train the girls for the medical clinic and bless Michael and Milka a little bit, but mostly God changed everything. And it was okay because I gave it to him before I left, from the focus of physical therapy to let's get them ready for anything like Heimlich, CPR, and we were all singing Staying Alive while we were doing it. It was fun. Even though I was sick, they were really patient with me.
And I think that we all had a variety of interests, and that's what I loved about this group, is that we went down there with an itinerary, but we also knew that God would work in that, and boy did he. But to get to see everybody using unique gifts and talents, and to see Tammy rising up in the Holy Spirit praying over like 25, 30 people at the church service we went to. She just wanted to go and see what Jesus had, and that was huge. So, and she just had such a peaceful, giving presence. It was really neat.
Well, I went to meet the invisible wife of Michael. She's an incredible woman. They have a beautiful home. There's a lot of things going on there that people don't realize, and it opened my eyes to a lot of things that he has to deal with on a day-to-day basis and whatnot. And so I did get a chance to cook a couple of meals, as some of the other people did too. And also, like Sherry said, we got a chance to bless them with a home improvement project. So
I basically was prayer cover for the group and everything that was going to happen. So that was pretty exciting. God did show up all throughout it, and it was pretty amazing.
When you spoke in front of the Bushebi, yeah.
Well, yeah, there was
You
the
did a
unexpected.
wonderful job.
I was the guest speaker.
Yes, she did
Sunday
good.
morning. That was interesting. Not a preacher, but hey, God showed up. All three of us, Dean, Sherry, and I, all got to speak, and it was pretty amazing how God just worked through all of it, because there was, even though we didn't speak about what we were going to speak about, we were just going to share our testimonies of how God got us there. But in reality, it was all about giving, the good God that we serve, and that you cannot outgive God. Just in sharing our testimonies of what God has done in our lives. One of the pastors came up to me afterwards and said, "Thank you so much, all three of you. But he says, what you spoke was exactly what Africa needed to hear." And I was like, wow, okay, that was Jesus. That was not Lila. But it was fun.
we got to celebrate Bishop Bishebi's birthday with him. That's why we went over there to his house on that Friday. And there was a lot of people there. There were leaders from different churches and whatnot, and family members, and just people blessing them. And they were 100% blessed.
It was amazing. I left here with no African children, and I came back with 3.
Yes.
When we went to Compassion House that Saturday night, I got to meet the young man that Daryl and I have been sponsoring for years. So that was pretty cool. But this little boy came up afterwards, and he just broke my heart. His name was Anthony, and he said, "Could you support me?" And it's like, "Honey, I have to talk to my husband, but I will talk to him and see." And Daryl most definitely said, "Yes, we can do that." And Dean and Sherry no longer have the only Bushebi son. We adopted Timothy, his little brother, who's 35 years old, but still with his parents' blessings. So I'm kind of excited to see where that's going to go.
There were probably more moments than I could count. After the Street Kid Ministry Day, that was amazing in so many different ways. I just was so overwhelmed with all the different ways that God was moving, and heart-wrenching. At the same time, it was so beautiful. At the same time, it felt so good to just be used and to just know that God was reaching into these lives. I had to step away and just go sit while they were doing some worship practice and just be able to let some of that roll off, because it was just pretty thick and heavy, and ended up in the middle of their worship practice and getting to sing with them as they were practicing, and minister some to the worshipers, the one particular worshiper that was there. But there were just so many moments, and so many, if you have a heart to reach people and you want to see God work and you're not really even sure how he might work. I wasn't expecting to give a salvation message. I wasn't expecting for a huge altar call. There's just so much that God can do when we just show up and say, God, use me.
Personally, he convicted me of being go on American time when you're in Africa. It's so difficult. You make a plan for 2 or 3 things to be done in the day, and if you get one done, you're blessed. It just takes a whole lot longer to do anything. It's not like here where we can just drive and get somewhere. You go like to the family members and whatnot, go to their houses. It takes 2 hours. And it's only 35, 40 miles away. I mean, it takes forever. And in that traffic, you better be praying because it's a little crazy.
Saturday was amazing with the street kids.
Yes.
And I find personally that in moments like that afterwards, I don't feel like I belong. And I'm just going to be gut-wrenching honest. I often don't feel like I belong. And I was talking to God on the way home, and it's like, I don't belong with these people. I just don't fit in. You should fit in with me. It's like, okay, well, that's good. And the fact that I spent an entire day praying and fasting, he told me that he could not have done Saturday with the street kids, what these guys have shared and what Candy shared, if you hadn't done what you did.
Amen.
And it was like, wow, okay, it's all right. I'm good now. Because he does need people to be willing to do whatever he needs to do. It isn't about the limelight. It isn't about the glory. It's being about what does he need us to do at that moment. So
For me, there was a lot of listening. There was just a lot of listening and a lot of, okay, Lord, this is what's going on. What do you want me to do? This is what's going on. How do you want this handled? This is what needs to get worked out. What do you want that to look like? And really just a lot of talking with my leader and saying, okay, you want me to be here and doing this? How do you want it done? So
Our fearless leader here, she parsed out the money, but she was not giving up without a prayer. She prayed over every single thing that was given, and every single bit of it God given, and every single bit of it went to a good place. And she was the spearhead of that. God told me that because I was praying for her too. I give lots of credit for that.
I think one of the coolest things to see on that was to see our African brothers and sisters pick up the torch. And for instance, the church that Tammy and I went and spoke at, they were raising money for the roof. They didn't know that we came there with the funds for the roof. Michael and I had already talked. This had already been arranged. They didn't know that. So as we're driving out there miles and miles, and people are walking and walking and walking, and there's nothing. There's no electricity, there's no stores, there's no water, and I'm going, where are these people walking? And it hit me after a couple of days. They're walking to get food and water, and there's no refrigeration. So every day is a day to get done what you need to do to live. So we're driving out to this church in this very remote area, and it's a mud shack of a building. And next to it is a kiln where they've been making their own bricks. And next to that is a big building with handmade bricks and mortar and timbers. And they're fundraising for their roof. And I'm watching this going, let's give them ownership. I don't want to just hand over money. Give them ownership. Let's do ownership. So turned over to Milka and said, we'll match whatever they bring in. Thinking, we've got, all this American dollars that's been donated towards this. Of course they're going to get their roof, but this way they own their roof. They know they did their part. They raised almost twice as much. And we had to do a little digging on our own because I told them, you know what? God says, let your yes be yes and your no be no. So we're going to figure this out, but you guys have outdone it. So they got their roof and they were able to buy their nails. Even in the midst of that, though, going back the next day with the pastor and Milka to go purchase these materials at the hardware store. And you'll see on the little paper report that I put out in the foyer, you'll see green hardware. I walked in there and every single person that God had a word for, there was word after word after word after word with people working at the store. And that I just was blown away. I'm like, okay, Lord, this is new. And so watching the pastor get to load all this into a little tiny tuk-tuk and, steel this thick of sheets, that doesn't weigh just a little bit. That's a lot to put in the back of a little tuk-tuk. Drive it 2 hours on these roads like this. They had that roof roofed in 1 day. When they got the sheets and the materials, they had it up in 1 day. I mean, I was like, yay. So part of this is, yes, the financial part of it. Part of it is the encouragement of the people who just need to know that they're not alone, that they can do this, that the things that they feel like are impossible because in their own strength they don't have this, but they do have strength and they do have their part, and coming together and seeing those things come together, it just in so many different ways. That's just one example.
For me, the first day we were there, we got to go visit some of the the people being attacked with sickness in Michael's church. And 3 of them live in this apartment complex type thing. Anyway, each one of them was an honor to step into their home and to be greeted with such openness. I mean, they treated us like we were, they called us the missionaries, which just still sounds weird. But they just gave us so much respect and so much honor. But with each one of them, they are believing God for something that is so huge to them. The very first one, she wants to have a business selling clothing. So we got to pray with her, and we got to sow money of our money into her. And then the next family, she has a business where she sells sandals, and she wants to expand. So it's like, okay, so I bought a pair. I think Tammy bought a pair. Candy probably bought a pair. But then we just we prayed with her, but then we all felt led to give her money to sow seed into her business. And both of them were just so blessed. The third one, her husband has a motorcycle of which they call a border. They don't call them motorcycles, but it's like a taxi. So that's how he makes the money to support his family, is giving rides on his border. Well, it had broke down, and they didn't have the money to fix it. So we asked how much it would cost, and each of us didn't know how much the other one gave, but we prayed for her. He is not a Christian, so we prayed salvation for him, that they would be able to serve God together, but that God would provide the money to get the motorcycle fixed. When we left, she had more than enough to get it fixed, and he had it fixed within a day or 2, and he's back on. Now, an entire day of doing that gives him a whopping $6 of American money a day. That just broke my heart. But she is so excited to know that God's people truly do love them and want to help them. And then the fourth one that we went to was in a different area. Her husband, if I understood this correctly, is one of the elders in their church. They had been hit with sickness. She had pneumonia. One of the kids had pneumonia. They didn't have money for medicine. any of that. But we got to lay hands on all of them and pray over them. The amazing part for all of that, she was at church Sunday. She was serving at the street ministry. She helped cook. She didn't care about her health. She cared about being Jesus with skin on to everyone she came in contact. She's an amazing woman. All of them were. I just fell in love with them because they're just amazing, loving people. And I don't know about the rest of you. I'm pretty sure they are. We all made connections with them, of which I get messages every day through either a WhatsApp or Messenger from 3 of them. Hi, Mom, what are you doing? One calls me Mom, one calls me Mommy because her mother passed away. And it's like, I'm perfectly okay with that. I have kids everywhere. It's awesome. God is good. And those people appreciate what we're doing. I just was impressed with their openness to receive prayer. Every church we went to, we were put up front, and like the whole church would come up and ask for prayer. And they just had such a heart for God to move in their hearts and in their lives. And I just thought that was overwhelmingly wonderful.
The attitude of respect, they were very respectful. Even those that were less than respectful in their terms still had more respect than some that I've seen. Family is family. I mean, family is like, everyone is family. You know, it's beautiful, beautiful connections and loving community, just amazing people. So, and I just, that struck my heart just in talking with God about our relationship with him, my relationship with him, loving relationships. That was just really beautiful to me. That was just an ongoing thread.
My takeaway was I've known Michael for so many years, I just felt like I was at home. And the people there are so beautiful, and the people that came to my class were awesome. All of them were. They were very good about working together, and they all enjoyed singing Stay Alive, and they all enjoyed learning. They love learning, and I love that. That was so awesome. And it just gives me goosebumps even now to think about how receptive they were to everything that we did.
It was awe-inspiring, and it was a definite change in the way I think about a third world country. Mm-hmm. They're not third world. They're on the same elevation as we are as far as faith and prayer and believing. And they're very hungry to receive healing, words of knowledge, salvation. They want it all. And there's an open door there. I think praying for the leadership and the Bungoma Church, and also for Bishop Bishevi. He's getting up there in age, and his health is declining. So keeping his and her health, Dora's health, lifted up in prayer. Anybody that goes, take vitamins and stuff because they need them. They can't get a lot of stuff over there.
There are so many needs. It's like a hole.
Yeah.
And it. Before I went, I just kept on thinking we can't do anything to fill that hole. And now I see it's just individuals who need certain things. Tammy was wonderful, and we ran out of money because we spent a lot of money. But anyway, Tammy loaned me so that I could sew into each one of my girls' lives because they all wanted to start businesses or be lawyers or something like that. They have good aspirations. And they were so excited to get it. It's only something like $7 in our money or something.
A little more than that.
A little bit more than that, but not much. But they were so excited because they could get what they needed. And I said, this is seed for you each to do this, to do what God is calling you to do.
Sickness is a big deal down there. So I was amazed at how many people were fighting sickness. So my heart would be pray for healing for their bodies, especially Brother Bushebi, because he doesn't want to slow down. He's got the fire of God in his heart, and he's got stuff he needs to do. So my heart is, we need to pray for them. Financially, they obviously need money. It's a poor country, but God is able, and that was the message, and that's my prayer for them, is that they will see that there is nothing impossible with God.
My heart was struck by the street kids that weren't all kids. And every one of them came in with a bottle of glue hidden in their shirt, hidden up their sleeve. We need to be praying that there are solutions for these street kids. There were hardly any girls that were street kids. And one of us said, "Isn't that great?" I said, "No, it's not, because they've been sold. They're not there because they're not on the street." So praying for opportunities for the street kids, praying for ways for them to get off the street, praying for release from that hold of addiction, praying against the spiritual bondage there that puts them in that spot in the first place, praying for more openness culturally for them to keep their family if a parent gets remarried or what have you. In addition to that, praying for that belief that impossible can happen, praying for creative ideas. How do I creatively feed my family and take advantage of a business opportunity? How does God have creative opportunities for me to be able to do that? How is he going to show up? And I just need to be in the right place at the right time, and I need to be in prayer. So building people's capacity to believe the impossible, because God makes the impossible possible.
As for the street kids, when we say street kids, my American mind went immediately to runaways, because that's a lot of what we have here in America, but that's not how it is in Kenya. If a father leaves the family and the mother gets involved with another man, if he doesn't like the kids are thrown out like the trash. Those are the street kids. They truly are not wanted, but God wants them. So yes, prayer for the street kids. In the Saturday when Candy gave the altar call, probably 90% of the kids went forward and asked for salvation. 3 of them that I know of came up to leaders and said, "I want off the streets. I want to go back to school." So God is moving, and God cares about those street kids. They're not just street kids. They don't need to be thrown away.
Just like here, people there are a little scared to be involved with the street kids. A little scared. How is this going to affect me? How is this going to affect my kids? And there has to be some wisdom in that. There is need for wisdom. But to be able to bridge that gap, to be able to have discipleship that crosses class, that's here, that's there. It's a common thing of human nature. When we talk about these glue bottles these kids were having, they were sniffing the glue because Africa is such a family-friendly culture, such a family-oriented culture. You belong first to your family, then to your clan, then to your tribe, then to your country. It's very close-knit. And if you've been separated from all of that and you're on the street and you're 7 years old, I will forever have burned in my mind the very young kid who was a walking skeleton with adult clothing draped over him, carrying his glue bottle. And he got prayed over, and there was a word spoken over him. And so and that word was that he will be a pastor. And so my heart is saying, go, God, go. Because in the natural, my heart would say, you're probably not going to last another 2 months. This young man who's just trying to deal with life because he has nothing and nobody. And so for that to be offered, for fellowship and a dinner to be offered, along with the activities, along with hope, along with connecting people with church eldership and saying, okay, you're telling me you want to get closer to Jesus and that you've been separated long enough. Do you see this man behind you? He's a church elder. This is who you need to talk to, because I'm going to a different church tomorrow and I care and I want to see you survive and I want to see you thrive. That means you need to plug in with this man behind you. And to see that man going, oh, yeah, yep. This trip was priceless in so many ways. And again, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. I would have gone on my own if we hadn't paid for it, if we hadn't brought a group, because this is my heart, my passion. But wonderful people got to come in a team and serve with all of the different gifts and talents. And that's because the people who couldn't go supported the ones that did go. And so this has been just a huge blessing here and there. So thank you. Having some of those same people during the street ministry day come up and basically say thank you for giving us the chance to have this street ministry. I mean, this is their church and they're thanking us. And I have to believe that part of that is that opening of eyes of, hey, this can happen. We can have an outreach that is done safely and minister to people and see them come into church. And this is real, that their hunger for the Lord is real. So that meant a lot to me personally, as well as when the funds were being gathered for the roof in Igara, the pastor just had this look. And Overseer Timothy, if you see this, it was so fun to watch you have so much care and concern for your church members, and just really have that concern at a deep level, and to be able to say, hey, you know what? Do not weary in well-doing, because God's got you here right now. Do you see what he's doing in your church? Do you see what he's doing in your community? And you have pastored that. And to see him just sit up a little bit more and smile and say, thank you. Thank you. You know, just to see him have a little encouragement himself in the very difficult work of ministering to people who have nothing in material ways and who have very real needs. And to see God come and just be amazing. For those who had financial-minded questions, we contributed to each of the we all contributed personally. That definitely happened to supplement what was raised, but we also provided a food box for that last family, as well as some money towards their medical bills. We put electricity, and when I say we, I'm not saying just us, we as a church. You guys, I mean, church members, we made such huge impacts. We put electricity from the pole into every outlet and light switch and light, and bought fixtures and all of that for the medical clinic, so they have complete power. The only thing they were waiting on was the meter itself from the government. We built a partition wall so that the doctor has a meeting place that's up to code, basically, up to the medical code. We did a bunch of painting. We did a lot of stuff. Every church that we spoke at, we left a little bit of money, whether it was then or whether it was sent later. And if you have any questions on finances, let me know. I can try to get that to you as well. Definitely understand that part. I would want to know that my money was well spent as well if I was not able to go myself. So please, if you have questions, just ask.
I want to say thank you.
Yes.
For all the people that donated so that we could raise funds to go and do the things that we did. It touched my heart. People volunteered to help run the yard sale. People donated. People were praying for us. The whole church was praying for us, and Kenyan church is praying for this church. So to say thank you to God for allowing us to go, to thank God for each and every person that was on the team, even though Tammy's not here tonight. Father, we just bless each and every person that sits in this room that has given their time and effort and their prayers